This is Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC on location, San Diego, with a fellow Strong Islander, an industry veteran, respected individual in the community and nationwide, Andrew Levine. Welcome to Halo Talks.
Thank you, Pete.
So originally being from Long Beach, how the hell did you get into the health club sector?
Phenomenal question.
Very open-ended. Please begin.
Was an athlete in high school. Enjoyed working out. Still remember my first workout was 1976 when the movie Rocky came out.
There we go.
We were also fired up. We had to go to find the first barbell and dumbbells that we could. And back then they were wrapped in plastic. It was sand and plastic.
That's right. They used to bust open too.
Exactly.
You dropped
right.
them too hard.
Exactly right. So I remember my first workout was 1976. My last workout was 2 days ago. And it's been a 40-year journey in the fitness industry, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But probably the thing that got me into the industry was when I transferred from Hofstra University in New York to the University of Florida. And I worked for who I consider the godfather of our industry, Joe Cirulli.
Sure.
Who taught
Gainesville Athletic.
Gainesville Health and Fitness Center.
Yep.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Voted by Forbes magazine one of the top 25 small businesses in America. And I had the honor of working for him at $3.35 an hour, minimum wage, as a Nautilus certified instructor. And he just emphasized education and the highest possible standards of workouts, and if we weren't given a workout, Pete, we were cleaning. There was no such thing as not working.
That's so funny. There was a guy on here before. He said one of my operational mantras is clean things. Don't wait for them to be dirty.
Exactly.
Just clean them right now.
Exactly.
And it's interesting. Most of the most successful people, all of the most successful people in the industry that I've met, have the same kind of commentaries. Like, you got to have started at the bottom. You have to understand each function, and you got to understand the attention to detail, because this is not an easy business to make money in and keep the lights on.
That's exactly right.
So talk about, so you work for Joe kind of from a mentor standpoint, and give you first bite at the industry, and learning it the only way you can learn something is by doing it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal because he ran it with such an attention to detail. I remember we had to wear shirts and ties to be Nautilus instructors because he wanted the members to always know who the staff was. And he didn't even want them in athletic clothing. And he also had another method to his madness, which was to develop your communication skills to the point where you could take somebody through a great workout without actually getting on the piece of equipment. So we were in shirts and ties, and we were taking everybody through a Nautilus circuit, because back then it was all Nautilus equipment.
Right.
And we weren't called personal trainers, but that's what we did. But everybody got touched by, a staff member. And Joe was the ultimate motivator. The ultimate consistent source of continuing education. He would send us all to Nautilus headquarters to be certified and to learn more about nutrition. And I still remember to this day, we had to pass a knowledge test, which incorporated watching 50 videos on Nautilus training. And if you didn't pass the test, you weren't allowed to work for minimum wage.
Wow.
And we all fought for the ability to work on that job. It was a prestige thing.
It's amazing. You think about culture, and you think about, those foundations, and once you kind of stick those in the ground, a lot else could happen, because you've got that as a base, and like there's a level of professionalism. I've actually I just wrote down a shirt and tie thing, because I think that would be amazing, like throwback class. Instead of doing we're doing a boot camp class, they're going to show up with like 6 trainers, like all dressed up as if they're going on my bar mitzvah or something. Who the hell knows, right?
Well, Joe used to say when he'd interview you, well, I come from Catholic school. I had to wear a uniform. So believe me, you're going to wear a uniform. And for him, it was shirts and ties. And you know what? We all bought in. We all bought in because we knew how righteous and his level of integrity.
Yeah.
So
how long were you there for? And then, where'd you go to next? And how'd you end up in Palm Desert, which obviously is not a bad place to be.
Right. Well, lots of twists and turns between Gainesville, Florida, and Palm Desert. Bounced. Been in the industry. 2020 will be my 40th year. It's a pretty motivational story, the way I got my first opportunity post-college I was working at Joe's club, and I was training one of the older members. Most of the members were college students. I wanted to impress Joe. I wanted him to be able to look out on the workout floor, that I wasn't just looking to work out the pretty girls for Friday night. So I struck up a friendship with one of the older members who had a bad back, and I was helping him work out. Turns out I had no idea that he was a wealthy retired businessman. And about a month before graduating, I got a degree in journalism. And I was going to go to law school and take over my dad's law firm, which is, obviously in the Old Testament that you have to take over your Jewish father's law firm.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't take over his coffee business, or we would not be having this conversation.
Exactly. So, make a very long story short, this gentleman said to me about a month before graduating, "What are you going to do?" So I said, "Well, I'm probably going to go to law school and then take over my dad's law firm." He goes, "Don't you hate lawyers?" So I laughed and I said, "Oh, some of them are okay. Because the world doesn't need another lawyer. Why don't you do this?" So I said, "What do you mean this?" He goes, "You're really good at this." I said, "I've put some money away, and I think we should do a gym together." So I took 7 days off after graduating and went from Gainesville, Florida to Tallahassee, Florida. And I'm 21 years old, and I own 10% of my first gym, and I'm making $500 a week plus commission. And
What was that on? It was probably less than $3.35 an hour at that point, because you're there probably 100 hours a week, right?
Exactly. But when I talk to staff, I talk about the members see everything, your boss sees everything. And I was so into impressing my boss that I was going above and beyond, not just looking to hook up with, a date.
Yeah, sure.
And look at what happened, because I singled out this guy, and it turned out that he was a wealthy, retired businessman. I opened up my first club as an equity partner at 21.
I believe seriously in karma, and like you do the right thing and, good things happen. I lost my wallet on a flight, and I'm like, the last 2 months, I've done nothing but good things for good people. And like 2 days later, I got my wallet back. And it was definitely,
I love it.
Look, you did the right thing, which was, you had nothing to gain from it except, hey, I'm going to create a new experience for someone. I'm going to help somebody get results. And it turns out, create results for yourself. So I think you got to pass it on. It's like an energy field we're working in.
I couldn't agree more. And, I also believe you have to be righteous about it. You got to really love the fitness lifestyle. You got to work it. You got to be sincere. I have a pet peeve. If I'm dealing with someone in the fitness industry and they don't work out themselves, I have a problem with that. I don't expect you to be a marathon runner or a triathlete or a bodybuilder. But if you can't make the time to train 3 days a week and eat clean and, represent, I got a problem with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I did a 1 hour spin class 2 days ago, and I'm planning on getting a workout in tomorrow. So,
well, you look super fit.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I got a body for radio, right? Podcasting.
For a man in his early 70s, you look phenomenal.
Thank you. I just got my hair colored, and I still have hair to color. So I'm going to take advantage of that until it's not there anymore, or wear a hat. So you're 21 years old. You're in Tallahassee. Had things kind of evolved, from there to your first club in Palm Springs, and what's happened in Palm Springs? I mean, like when you went out there, it must have been pretty quiet versus what it is today, I would presume.
Well, there were quite a few. There were quite a few transitional periods between Tallahassee, Florida, and then going back into advertising. Actually, I had a background in marketing and advertising. When things didn't work out 100% well with the Westwood Fitness situation, which was Tallahassee, I actually worked for a production company in advertising on the west coast of Florida.
Okay.
Really enjoyed that. I've always enjoyed being creative, ran a bunch of ad campaigns, and then had a super successful syndicated campaign for Gold's Gyms throughout North America. And it was picked up by over 70 clubs, and I was invited to be a featured speaker. I was living on the west coast of Florida, was invited to be a featured speaker at the Gold's Gym convention in LA. Went out there, made a speech about advertising and marketing, and stopped, with the 2-for-1 sales, and start showing before and after results, and replicate more of the diet industry success rather than everything being price point driven.
Sure.
And stopped exclusively showing bodybuilders, because that's not where the money's at. And, things clicked pretty well. So from that convention, I was offered a marketing position with with Gold's Gym.
Okay.
So I made that move. So
That was with corporate.
right.
Gotcha.
So I was living in LA and living the life in the 80s. So since then, lot of different opportunities. Ran a large chain of clubs in New York and New Jersey called Synergy Fitness. They're still one of my consulting clients. Did some corporate work with World Gym in both Florida and California. And then it ended up that I had an opportunity to buy a club in the desert in California, which I love, and also maintain my consulting. And it's been a blessing because I have my son working with me, and he's going to carry on the legacy, and I'm very fortunate.
So tell us, it's under a World Gym
Right.
brand. I think, World Gym has kind of gone through, well, I guess it kind of like Gold's. Every
Right.
franchisee kind of creates what that brand means in
Absolutely.
that, in their trademark, trade area. So what does World Gym represent, at your location versus someone might in California
Right.
might be like a little more
Right.
hardcore.
I'm definitely more of a disruptor when it comes to the World Gym brand because I don't use the logo that's iconic, which is the gorilla with the bent barbell. I already know I'm going to get that market.
Right.
I know I'm going to get young guys who like heavy lifting. I know I'm going to get that. So I do the opposite. All of my marketing, whether it's social media or whatever I do, is to push the idea of results for everybody, meaning
Right.
seniors, families, deconditioned. I know I'm going to get that 21-year-old heavy lifter. I really want to get his parents and grandparents. So I really try to emphasize before and after results of all different types of conditioned people. And you will rarely ever see me highlight a member who's a bodybuilder or a power lifter.
Got it.
I already know I'm going to get them.
So in Palm Desert, where you've obviously got a pretty big, retirement community, are you seeing a lot of health care companies and insurance companies finally like pay you directly or say, look, I'm going to give you 100% because if you enter that hospital room one time, it's 5 times what my membership is.
Couldn't agree more, Peter. That is the thing I'm most excited about. When I bought my club in 2016, it was basically run like a standard operation with, memberships paid in fulls and some month to month. And did very little with the Silver Sneaker program. Mm-hmm. And I realized that really where it was at was getting involved with the insurance companies. Yep. So that's been our saving grace and really been our sweet spot. So my company works with Silver Sneakers, Silver and Fit, Active and Fit, Optum, and that's really where we see our growth. We've increased it about 1,100%. From
Wow.
where it was.
That's great.
It was really an afterthought because it takes work.
Yeah.
You've got to prove to these carriers that you're willing to customize your programming towards seniors, and that's the other reason why my marketing is really, much softer than the typical World Gym, Powerhouse Gym, Gold's Gym.
So, as you're helping other people and you got a consulting arm as well, and, that's awesome to kind of share your experience. And as people on the show have heard many times, I use this phrase all the time. It's called experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. I got a lot of experience. I can tell you what's worked for me. I'm very open about what hasn't worked. And let me save you some trouble here. Or, let me show you a path
Sure.
that doesn't include the negative components of that. And from a standpoint of giving back that knowledge of how you're able to, how you run this play by
Right.
up 1,100%. Like other
Right.
people need to know how to do that. It's not
Right.
going to negatively impact your business. It's not like you're giving, a competitor this a
Right.
secret, but like
Right.
if people could replicate what you have done, we're going to help a lot more people, which is
Right.
obviously our goal.
Right.
We're going to save this country more money. We're not going to have like
100%.
obesity, centric restaurants. They're trying to like reinforce the chairs. I'm like, let us fix that. Leave the chair
Exactly.
the way it is.
Exactly.
So
it's kind of like when people ask me, who are your competitors, and they think I'm going to say LA Fitness, or
Yeah.
I'm going to say 24-hour Fitness, or I'm going to say the local JCC or Boys Club. I go, no, my competitor is Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers. I want market share from the diet industry because I want to keep my promise.
Yep.
And it's only through structured nutrition and consistent exercise you're going to get full results. And to reach out to seniors, you've got to go to them. So every week we're out to senior centers.
That's awesome.
We work through the local churches. We do a lot of free health fairs and screenings. You've got to be proactive and you've got to make them comfortable. So you have to do a lot of open houses. I also do a lot of charity tie-ins. I'll do things for the MS Society. I'll do things for Special Olympics. I'll do things for arthritis care. You have to be wellness oriented.
What I would love to do, and let's get it on tape so it happens. So we're still recording, correct? All right, cool. I would love to set up like a Halo playbook. We use this term Halo, and to give people like, here's a way to do it. Like instead of me just telling you or hire you for a day or a week or a month or whatever it is, but we got to implement these types of programs because it's a huge market and there's no more excuses. So
I couldn't agree
I think
more.
we do that. So look, we grew up only 18 minutes off the southern state. So it took us to get to San Diego in order for us to become friends.
There we go, Peter.
It was great to meet you. Congrats on the success. Let's figure out ways to work together and help more people. And I love what you're doing. And guys like you kind of took the first leap into this industry. And we appreciate your service in that path. And let's make some money, help more people, and have fun doing it.
That's right. Appreciate it, Peter.
Suit and tie PT in my basement next week. Later. Thanks, man.
Thanks.